All right, guys. So I'm just going to be giving my reaction, basically my initial thoughts. It's going to be more a review. I won't be able to do a reaction today, just because it's been late. I've been busy, so I haven't been able to do it. And technical difficulties is why I'm only doing mostly a review of Fear the Walking Dead season 4, episode 12, The Week. Um, so yeah, you had last week's episode, which was Morgan meeting up with these people, which was Sarah, Wendell, who were like truck drivers who were basically dropping off supplies at different checkpoints and mile markers, or I don't know, I guess at least that's what they were supposed to be doing. But then they kidnapped a guy named Jim, who was like a beer brewer, and who then he decided to get into a league with the latter two, with Wendell and Sarah, after in self preservation, and they almost let Morgan to die, and then he was able to convince them, to drop off all these supplies at the different mile markers and to go help his friends, Alicia and company back in Texas, when he was trying before they all get together and go back to Virginia, even though Morgan doesn't fully trust them enough to tell him the exact location in Virginia. Um, at least Wendell, Sarah, and um, Jim. Wendell, who is played by an actor from Galaxy Quest. Sarah is played by Mo Collins from Mad TV fame, and Jim being played by Aaron Stanford, who people may know from as Pyro from the X-Men trilogy, or he was also in 12 Monkeys, the series. All in all, it was kind of a bottle episode that I didn't really. It was. I think it was like a filler episode in my opinion, and I didn't really care much for it. This one was definitely a step up in which it focused on June and Al, and in which the SWAT truck ran out of fuel, so they were camping out for several days, and eventually they were journeying off just because they were trying to get a signal from the walkie-talkie of like who was trying to respond to them. It was presumably Morgan when he was dropping off different supplies at different checkpoints. The checkpoint, one of the checkpoints, was founded by the mystery woman who was featured at the end of the last episode, who seemed like she was kind of like manipulating the cast and you know interfering with why they weren't able to communicate. They were struggling to communicate with one another on walkie-talkies. She was the one who picked up on Morgan's transmission in the app last episode and was basically trying to like create walkers. And she was even at one of the checkpoints in which she was like acting like a mysterious woman who was trying to get help, and was going to take what she needed and leave what she didn't, as was written on all the boxes with supplies on it provided by Sarah and company. But then it seemed like she was being really shady and like filling like the water bottles with like dirty water in order to like get whoever found it sick and create more walkers. Um, and the thing is that when June and Al went on foot trying to find whoever was sending the transmissions, or if it was Morgan or not, they didn't know it was Morgan. They It turned out somebody had stolen the SWAT truck, and I don't know why this was like so stupid. Like they knew because I guess because like of low blood sugar that Al was feeling sick, and yet June was letting her drive the pickup truck that they were driving. No, she could have like passed out at the wheel any second, and which kind of what happened when they were chasing after the stolen SWAT truck, in which she was kind of like getting this. I guess she was well, maybe there was less of the disorientation, more like trying to dodge some I guess a refrigerator or something on the side of the road on the road, in which it caused the tire to blow out and get the stranded on the side. And Al saying that June had to go on foot, um, and get the truck, get the SWAT truck because it had her medicines to be able to, with her diabetes, or I guess like low blood sugar, or like help with like her whatever illness she was having. And you can see how June was like reluctant to abandon her, and I liked how they were like, I mean, it was kind of subtle, but it was like it seemed like there were parallels with her. I guess you just thought back to like the first half of season four where she was staying at a location, not a stadium, but like a establishment where like a bunch of like survivors of the zombie apocalypse were staying, and her daughter was getting sick, and she left her daughter by herself to get medications, and then by the time she came back, she was a zombie who had started turning people there, and so I guess like it was kind of so I got there, so it kind of made me think back to that and how it was causing her to she would worry about the same thing happening again, like abandoning someone she cared about and then turning into a walker, and then Al convinced her to go on foot and then to get the medicine from the SWAT truck and to get it back. And she almost had to kill this guy whose name we later found out was name was Quinn, especially considering like she couldn't find the medicine on the truck, on the SWAT truck, and he had him at gunpoint and left him on the side of the street, or at least try to take the truck back. She couldn't, and eventually had to find medicine. They get find medicine by and basically a nearby bus that had been turned over, I guess during the hurricane. And Al later confessed that it's like there was no medicine on the truck. She was just trying to get her to get the SWAT truck back with the tapes on it. June was naturally pissed because she felt like she was being manipulated and becoming the person that she originally was. I guess like prior to the events of this season, and kind of was during the first half of season four. But Al said it wasn't just about getting the tapes back and like all the video interviews she had with people, and just trying to document like all their experiences. It was also like she had like videos of loved ones that she cared about, and she thought like if anything happened, if she lost those videos, she would lose her last connections to her loved ones after in the wake of the zombie apocalypse. And I guess it was supposed to be a parallel, but and reminded her that how much that she was like kept watching the same videos of John Dory's interview after she ran off. But when John met up with Al, even to the point where she killed the battery on the camcorder. But all in all, Al was trying to convince June that even though she was being manipulative, she ultimately didn't kill the guy, and she ultimately never caved into becoming who she once was, even though June was still pissed, arguing that she almost did. Silver lining, they were able to meet up again with Morgan, and also meet Wendell, Sarah, and Jim, and what their initial plans were and how they were going to try to find everybody else. And via walkie-talkie, June was able to get back in touch with Quinn, and they were trying to mend fences, and they said meet at mile marker 27. Quinn thought he was already at mile marker 27 with the refueled SWAT truck that belonged to Al, but then he realized that they had like some white tape on it that was set up by the mysterious woman, and she decided, and she killed him via a zombie named Purvis, who she let free, and basically was waiting and took control of the SWAT truck and waiting in the back to reanimate Quinn into a zombie. So, I mean, again, we don't know like what her end game is, like what her purpose is of trying to create these different zombies, and why she's trying to keep Morgan and Alicia and the whole cast separated, which seems to be her part of her one of her goals. I just know a preview for next week said that she finally, reveals herself to Morgan and Al and June, like, but I guess we also got to figure out what John Dory and Strand are up to. And this was actually the directorial debut of Coleman Domingo, who plays Strand. He directed this episode, so this is his directorial debut for the series, and I don't know. I'm pretty impressed. Like, it was a nice, it was pretty cool, like female led episode. Another female led episode, I should say. More like matter of factly without being heavy handed or preachy. It just was what it was, and make a big deal out of it. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this mysterious woman's endgame is, and how John and Strand and Luciana are going to meet up with everybody else. And the producers keep saying that they brought on Morgan to Fear the Walking Dead. Besides, other than presumably to boost their ratings, to also they wanted to do a story with Morgan that they feel like they wouldn't be able to do on on the original show, because the cast had gotten so big on The Walking Dead, where Fear the Walking Dead has become, has a smaller cast and more like, and they'd be able to explore more character arcs without Morgan being lost in the shuffle. But at the same time, it just feels like, I appreciate how they're retooling the show into a western with zombies, but I don't think they needed to like make such a radical. They course corrected too far in the sense of getting rid of Madison Clark, because the one thing that was, at least in spite of all the flaws that this show had in its previous seasons, is like they didn't make it specifically about. They did try to make it center around the Clark family, and even though they were trying to retool the show, and I appreciate the retooling, and I guess making it into a more like ensemble cast in the same way, in some sense, it just feels like it feels like it's almost like one step forward, two steps back. Like they retooled Fear the Walking Dead into like a western with zombies, but at the same time, it's like it's almost in the same way as like it's kind of more of like it's almost like kind of like The Walking Dead in the sense that it's an ensemble show, and less about like a specific centering around like a specific family, and more family driven. It's just kind of a more like another Walking Dead ensemble show, is just with a smaller cast and takes with a western vibe to it. So my feelings about what the direction they took the series in was kind of mixed, and I feel like some of the retools benefited the show, and some of it was kind of like, I think it took it a step too far, and there were some things that did work for Fear the Walking Dead in previous seasons, like making it mostly about the more centered around the Clark family, as well also try to help Fear the Walking Dead stand out from the original show. So I feel like we could have had our cake and ate it too, but I don't know. It is what it is, and it's pretty much it's bittersweet at best. And but in spite of it, I'll take it for what it is. I'm enjoying the show so far. But I don't know. What do you guys think of Walking Dead, the Fear the Walking Dead so far? Do you feel like they made too many changes to it? Do you feel like it was just right? Do you feel like Madison should have at least stuck around? It would have been cool to see her in present day, interacting with different people. Do you just like how it's more of an ensemble show? I guess with Lenny James taking top billing, or do you feel like it's become less about the original cast and more about the new people just because of the reception in the past? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.